Yeah, baby. 1999. Gotta lock your stuff up. All right, we're gonna train a little bit of chest today. Seems like routine, doesn't it? Every year, same old thing, but this year is gonna be different. Las Vegas, my second home. I'm gonna come in here and do some chest for you. I'm kind of curious what these other guys did in this last year. If nothing else, Ronnie Coleman was very inspiring pulling off what he did last year. So my training this year has been nothing but focused and inspiring. And we'll get more into that after I knock out some chest for you. Let's rock and roll. Last time I was on the scale, I was about 217 pounds a week ago. Last year on stage, I was about 217 pounds. So I'm right where I need to be in terms of saying last year I think I might have been about 5 pounds too much. Just gonna warm up with a few more warm-up sets before I put some weight on the bar. But ironically this year I stayed heavy strength-wise. I'm losing the weight, but my strength isn't going down. Purposefully training with a little heavier weight. I'm trying to keep the solid thickness and the roundness of the muscle while getting more ripped than I was last year. So I hope to step on stage right around 212. Last year was about 217, so I'm on target. I got about a week more training, and then after that it's just straight posing. So let's rock and roll. It's 145 pounds. I usually work my way up to 175 in the off season. But in the off season I'm about 15 pounds heavier, so I surprised myself a little bit. May not be a lot of weight to the bigger boys, but to me it's a lot of weight. 5'7", 212 pounds. After dieting for 3 months, throwing around 145 is kind of impressive under the conditions of an hour and a half of cardio, 2 or 3 carbohydrate meals, eating 6 times a day and not really getting much sleep. And I'm drinking about 2.5 gallons of water. So any of the top level bodybuilders understand you don't get a whole lot of sleep when you're training for a contest. You're always running back and forth to the bathroom, peeing out all the water because we don't have the carbohydrates and sodium in our system to retain that water. So a lot of tossing and turning. I actually start to fall asleep early in the morning, which is time for breakfast. So for me, that's a lot of weight. Bench press, probably one of the most overrated exercises there is. The #1 pec injury exercise there is. How much weight I can bench. So that's the question that doesn't really pertain to bodybuilding. You got to be strong, there's no question. But trying to monitor your progress by the bench press is the #1 mistake you can make. You can ask Richard Sparry, Barry DeMay, John Brown, even Kevin Levrone, and more recently Craig Titus about how important it is to have a 500-pound bench. I mean, it sounds impressive, but at the end of the day, when you take your shirt off, you better hope you got some pecs. It's a little harder. No workout partner this year. Train by myself, but I like it that way. Train by myself, rely on myself. I never really criticize people for having a good support group. You need that. This year I've had a very good support group outside of bodybuilding, which helps take me away from bodybuilding. And what makes my competition preparation even more rewarding when it's all over with, whether it's 2nd or 5th or whatever, is knowing that I did it all single-handedly and by myself. Found the desire and drive to get out of bed when I didn't want to, train when I didn't feel like it, overcome relationships and things. Last year I was a little bit preoccupied with a relationship, thinking about getting engaged and getting married and selling my house and buying a new house and satisfying a second individual. And at the end of the day, the #1 thing that suffered was my passion for life right now, and that's my competition preparation. And ultimately the relationship dissolved. It didn't work out and we shook hands and went our separate ways, which added fuel to the fire this year because I didn't have anybody but myself to concentrate on. But my supporting cast outside the gym kept the focus. I appreciate all the emails and all the fan support and fan letters with my relationship situation, because a lot of times that can take you away from your goal, and relationships are very demanding. So having to be pulled in one direction or the other, it's a tough, difficult way to train and get ready for a contest. And I think my placement reflected that my mind wasn't into the game last year. This time my mind is focused on the game, focused on my body, It'll probably be a lot easier to deal with whatever placement they have in store for me, a lot easier because it's all a reflection of what I've done this year. Since March, being in my own house and being on my own, definitely gave me a renewed vigor to focus on my goal, which is trying to win that trophy or at least get it, do the best I can. So I have nobody to point fingers at this year. Not that last year's experience wasn't pleasurable, it was. I enjoyed the ride. But there was a lot of lessons learned last year that I applied to this year's preparation. And more importantly, I realized that this is my passion. This is my calling. Win, lose, or draw, I reap what I sow. I like to wear long sleeve shirts, stay warm, break a good sweat. Of course, if you're gonna wear any long sleeve shirts, you gotta make sure they're breathable. And if this sounds like a commercial, it is. That's why I wear Max Muscle. It's my clothing sponsor. All right, finish with some cable crossovers. Just a finishing exercise for me. This isn't something I do year round. I picture myself doing a little most muscular pose, so I can squeeze the fibers right at the very end, right in the middle of the pecs. Now, I know you want to see, we'll get to that. But this isn't an exercise that's gonna build up the pecs, but it'll definitely help rip them up. So if you get into the habit of wearing clothes while you're training, you actually have to feel the muscle being worked rather than trying to look in a stupid mirror, taking your mind off the muscle. So that's why I wear clothes when I train. Obviously we're making a video, so it will come off, but let me just get a little bit more blood in my system. I don't like to be distracted looking at myself in the mirror when I'm training. That's why you see me wearing long shirts and long sleeves when I train, because there's nothing to see. It's all about the mind and muscle control and connection. So that's chest in a nutshell. 4 simple exercises, 4 sets, 10 days out from the Mr.Olympia. At this stage, I'm not gonna get any bigger, so I'm definitely training for a little more hardness. I'm adding tanning, and I'm doing a lot of posing after I get done training. I'm cutting back on the cardiovascular. Because with my weight where it's at, there's not a whole lot of body fat to come off, just some water weight, and I'll lose that during my sun tanning and my posing. So let's go over to my favorite spot in the gym and hit some poses for you real quick, see what's happening. All right. I feel more confident this year just by the fact that my preparation was much more spot on. The focus was a little bit more intense. The goal to keep my strength up and go by the mirror instead of the scale. Having to only worry about Shawn Ray instead of someone else. Definitely took a lot of distractions off of the actual eating and the training and the daily grind of what it takes to become a champion. And it gives me even more respect for a guy like Ronnie Coleman, a Flex Wheeler, a Lee Haney, even a Dorian Yates, and Nasser, somebody that can maintain a professional bodybuilding career at this level and have a significant other in their lives and manage to find an equal balance of professional and family life. So that's something that I look forward to, but I can't have both. I mean, maybe I can, but my mindset is that of a warrior, only having to deal with me. It makes it a little easier to get up in the morning and train and come home from a bad day and not have someone else to make it worse, or having someone else to worry about. Me and my dog, Diablo, are managing just fine. And look, I mean, I feel like a kid in a candy store. The fire's lit, I have no injuries. I feel very confident about what's gonna happen in Las Vegas. And win, lose, or draw, this is one contest preparation I could say, wow, you know, not only did I made it, but I still got energy to keep running. So I'm very complete as an individual. I'm moving into my new home in Yorba Linda, California, building new and stronger ties with my family and friends, like I was talking about earlier, the support group, which is necessary, especially on this lonely, isolated journey to Mount Olympus, trying to overcome the Goliaths, and I'm one of the Davids out there. I'm holding the flag for the little guys, me and Lee Priest, and I don't think any of us in this year's Mr. Olympia are conceding to the fact that publicity, whether positive or negative, or the judges, whether they're the same ones or the old ones, none of us are believing that any of these people or obstacles can stop us from getting to the top. I certainly don't believe it. I certainly believe that whatever happens come October 23rd in Las Vegas, the reflection of what I've done in this gym is admirable from my own yardstick of judging how I prepared in the past for shows. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a time out and pat myself on the back and say, Shawn, you made it through all the adversity, through all the trials and tribulations of a bumpy road in 1998, people writing me off after getting 5th, which I've been before.
in 1991, but I managed to sneak up to second in 94, second in 96. I'm looking at number 1 in 99, and if it doesn't happen for me here in 99, believe me, there's no finger pointing. There better be better athletes, I know that, and they all better be in condition. So with that being said, I look forward to the challenge and the showdown in Las Vegas.
See you in Las Vegas.